Good afternoon, everyone. On this fourth day of season one presentation from the paper number 104 Literature of the Victorians, I choose the topic Insights of Browning's poem. Here is my personal information now about the Robert Browning. Robert Browning was born in 1812 and died in 1889. He was an English poet and playwright. Era of his time is Victorian era. He was very famous to write dramatic monologue, psychological portraiture, setting and irony, dark humor, and words. He can easily play with so many words and make and arrange them in a sense that it looks interesting and also can understandable. Here are some of his famous works. Now, why are Browning's poems is really interesting and important when we read or when we heard? These are some statements of the Dr. P.V. Ravi Kumar on his article that Browning opens that victory is not the same as self-satisfaction and gladness. This statement he gives because in so many poem of Browning, we when we read it, we feel we are motivated from his poems that victory is not important then satisfaction and gladness. If we satisfy from something, we don't care that we are winner or we are loser. Man should continue serving with his unstained efforts without thinking of benefits. A man should doing what they are doing not for any benefits or not for any fruit. They just do for surviving and for self satisfaction and gladness. Knowledge can be gained only through desire. Knowledge is only can be gained through desire. If we desire that we want to learn it, we can learn it. If we don't want to desire it, that we can learn it. Failure enlightenment with a ray of hope is always better than hopeless success, as it is generally forgotten in short span of time. Now, understanding of love in his poetry, he was very famous for writing poetry. In the last ride together, a beloved who was jittered in love still pines for the success of his affair and hopes to succeed in his love and at least in Lex's life. In this poem, he is not successful in his love life in last ride together poem by Robert Browning. So he says that I hope that we meet in the next life. He in the through this line we also can see that he believes in a life after the death. He strongly believes that God creates love in order to make man be showered with love. His heroes love their beloved because they are women with passion. This line also sees that realism in his poem, that he described his poem in love symptoms, but in what basis that he mostly reflect the sexual part of the love, that his hero of his poem only love woman who is passionate with love. Pipa passes and Rudel to the Lady of Tripoli also sees very beautiful elements of love. Now, desire and achievement in his poetry, like Browning reiterates that mere brooding over failures and disappointments will not serve any purpose. A man cannot realize all his dreams and hopes. That of course we have so many dreams and we have so many goals, but some hopes and goals are there. We cannot imagine that we can take that and we can prove that we can achieve that. Just like the slip between the cup and the lip, there is a gulf of difference between his desire and achievements. What is the difference between desire and achievement? We say that a little line, sparkling line, is a difference between desire and achievement. If we desire that we want to achieve this, we already achieved 99% of it. We just need to done the last part of that achievement. In Rabi Ben Ezra, failures are treated as stepping stone to allow one to move ahead. In poem of Rabi Ben Ezra, Browning described that how a failure is not a negative thing; it's a positive thing. If we fail, we can rise again. So, in this concept of failure, he described in his poem Rabbi Ben Ezra. Browning emphasizes that a man is bound to be present with rewards in his next birth by God Himself, but for that he has to remain stoic. Like if a man suppose or want that I want to be good in the next life, God of course give him a good life, but if he stay remains stoic, like magic in his poetry. I use magic in his poetry word because his poems are mostly understandable to after reading this poem of a part of the poem taken by the people of Hamlin, a child's story. It is a part of a short story from Robert Browning's poems, Rats. First line of this word rats. We when we heard this word rat, we sparked that yes, it is a small thing which surrounding in our home. So rats they fought the dogs and killed the cats and beat the babies in the cradle and ate the cheeses out of the beds. When we heard or read this line, uh, we automatically remember the cartoon Tom and Jerry. They also fight with each other because Tom is a cat and Jerry is a mouse. So in this four line, we can relate these things and we can imagine this thing. It is really I use this image. It's just really easy to understand. When I read this full and we automatically spark that yes, what she want to say and what is in this poem. So the structure and words of Browning's poem, it is very easy to understand, and he used the words in manner that it's also look interesting. So now, what G.K. Chesterton think about his poems? Like Browning's love poetry is the finest in the world because it does not talk about raptures and ideas and gates of heaven. It is the truest of all love poetry because it does not speak much about love. Some poets talk about love like it's a heaven or it's a thing that no one can achieve properly. So, but this Cheston say that Browning's love poetry are finest because he don't describe this poem like it's a heaven. When we get love, we are in a heaven, or everything looks beautiful around us. No, he talk about realism that yes, love is love. Love is a emotion of our mind. He trues trueness of love. What is true in love? He described this thing, and J.K. Cheston also agree with him, and that's why I use this image because I also agree with him that that's a good point. Here is my work citation. Thank you. Now, if anyone had question,
Pooja,
huh?
what is your opinion on Robert Browning's writing style?
Writing style. My opinion. I personally like his writing style because the word he chooses is love when we read. His writing style, it's a really bit normal, not so much highly like Wordsworth and these poets. It's normal in manner compared to Wordsworth poetry. His writing style is quite simple and very interesting.
Pooja, what poetic style does Browning use for the poem?
Can you repeat it loudly?
What poetic style does Browning use for the poem?
What?
What poetic
Just, what poetic style does Browning use for the poem? Which poetic style he used for his poems? Poetic style in a manner that every poet has their own style, but his poetic style. mm, I really don't think that I know about that.